So, because of the pandemic, we are now at the third album that Camila Cabello has not yet toured for. So naturally, as a fan, I started thinking, what would this tour even look like at this point? I started going through, which songs I would want on there, which ones not as much, and then I was like, what are we even gonna call this thing? We have 3 albums to choose the name from, triple the songs to perform. Then I was like, what does a gorgeous singer and dancer do when she has triple the albums to endorse? She embarks on the Triple Threat Tour. Alright, so here we are. This is my dream set list for the Triple Threat Tour. Now disclaimer, this is not a real tour currently being planned by Camila Cabello. This is all originally my idea. However, if she wants to steal it, do it, no credit needed. I as a fan will be happy enough to witness it live. Alright, so I want to play this album by album in chronological order, which means we are starting with Romance. And the first song I want to open the whole damn tour is Señorita. You gotta open up with a song that everybody knows, and she already opened so many shows with Señorita during the Familia area, so we know it works well. And also Señorita is just such a chill song, it can pretty much fade into anything for the second song. It's a staple opener. So that's gonna take us into our second song, which I am making Shameless. When I think of Romance, the song that encapsulates, represents the whole album, that whole era, that song is Shameless. I want it to be at the trademark start and introduce us to the whole era. And also, because it went viral on TikTok last year, it beat Liar, Don't Go Yet, Crying in the Club, even in streams. It's also a song that everybody knows. So we have 2 staples at the start, gonna be bangers. Our third song here will be Should've Said It. Yes, I know that Should've Said It is not the most popular song in Romance, but also you guys know that that song is my baby, my child, and I must see it live. And also with this being the Triple Threat Tour, I want to maybe bring out that more powerful, confident, fun side of her. And I think out of all the songs of Romance, Should've Said It does that the best. And also right after Shameless, it's just perfect because in Shameless, she's looking for the answer, the love, the confession, and then Should've Said It, she's saying she should've said it. Theme, it works, it's gotta be there. Next, after that, Romance is known for its ballads, and I don't want to bum people out with ballads during the concert, but just because we have to encapsulate what the era was as a whole, we gotta include one, and I think that ballad should be Easy. It was the one that was made the promotional single, it was the more popular one during the time, and it's a love ballad, which we don't really get in either Familia or xoxo, so I think it's perfect, especially to put it right in the middle before we have our grand finale of the Romance section. Right after that, when I associate Easy with something else, that other song is Cry For Me, because it was the second promotional single, they were released 1 week apart, and Cry For Me just needs to be performed live. I don't know why she hasn't performed it live as much as she should, because it is maybe the most energetic song she has. It's going to be so fun to scream, so she has to do it. It's just going to be perfect. Now we are heading into the finale, so as we're going to the finale section of Romance, I want to bring back songs that more everybody knows. So let's start our 6th song with Liar. Liar is going to continue that strong energy from Cry For Me, but instead it's going to narrow down the intensity, the aggression, and make it a little more of a sexual, sensual, fun vibe, which will make it perfect for our finale, which is the second most streamed song on Romance after Señorita, one that everybody knows as well, My Oh My. And the perfect thing here is we have so many songs that sound like Havana, Señorita, Should've Said It, My Oh My, that we might not even miss it. But if she still wanted to incorporate it, she can make a fun little My Oh My Havana mashup. I think that would be really cute. Also, I was thinking about this too, if she wanted to do a little video intro for each album, I think Living Proof would be the perfect one for Romance. It's just kind of got that artistic romance sensation that needs to be incorporated somewhere into that album era. Alright, so now moving on from Romance, we are heading into the Familia era. And for Familia, I just want it to be this giant celebration of her Latin culture and her Latin heritage. However, the problem is we have one song that doesn't really fit that theme that has to be performed, so I want to put it at the start so that we can just get it out of the way. I don't want it in the middle of all the Latin songs, and I think we all know that that song is Psycho Freak. Since Psycho Freak was a single as well, it's also the right way to start it off. We don't want to end it either because it's on a more negative note, so I think it works perfect here. To transition from Psycho Freak to the Latin songs, I am putting No Doubt into that position. No Doubt still got that mysterious, kind of creepy, dark vibe, but also the Latin energy and production at the same time. It's gonna be the perfect way to start this Latin transition. From No Doubt, I don't want to jump into party mode right away because we just had Psycho Freak, so when I think of the more chill Latin songs that has to be performed, the one that comes to mind is Hasta los Dientes, which I'm probably not pronouncing right whatsoever, but we have to have at least one Spanish song on this set list, and also Hasta los Dientes was a major fan favorite, and it was also made a single with a music video, so very recognizable as well. Okay, so now I want to build up the energy. It's time to do that. Before we get into the really fun parts though, again, time for my second child, La Buena Vida. La Buena Vida is the last song in the Familia era that's going to stay maybe on the negative connotation side lyrically, but it's still going to be super fun, and it'll be the perfect transition into just the having free, festive part that Familia that we all kind of know and love, the more singles of it. So that brings us into our last two, which are going to be Bam Bam and Jonggoya. And we're starting with Bam Bam because I don't know if you can see the trend here, but we're going with a song with the feature, then a song without the feature, song with the feature. So Bam Bam just continues that perfectly. And also La Buena Vida and Jonggoya are kind of similar sonically, so I don't want them to blend into one another. And also, I think there's just going to be something so perfect with Jonggoya closing off this era because it is the goodbye to the Familia section of the tour, but also the audience is not going yet because there is one last section left. So I love what it's also going to represent in the whole tour. Also, I know that Familia came out shorter than Romance. However, I feel like for the mainstream people, even for the fans, Romance was the bigger era to them. And I think if she does perform this tour in Mexico or South America, she can add Celia to the set list, maybe in between No Doubt and Hasta Dientes, give them an extra Spanish song as a gift. But I'm keeping like an average of 7 songs throughout, and I think XOXO, which we're heading into right now, needs to be the biggest because it's the era she's living in right now. This is the one she wants to endorse the most right now, so that's what we're doing. Before we go into that, actually, what I forgot to mention is what I would make the video intro for Familia. I think it should be Lola, because it has to have some connection to her Latin roots, but also the first song is Psycho Freak. So it can't be like super upbeat and positive, it has to stay on the darker side. And I think Lola could actually also have like some sort of charity cause incorporated into that video, which will be great to people suffering in those countries. All right, anyways, back to XOXO. We are kicking it off, of course, with I Love It. The song that not many fans love, including me. I don't want to make it the closer to XOXO because I love it to be the last thing in people's heads when they leave. But at the same time, it was how we got to know this era. It was how we were exposed to this new side of Camila. So I feel like we have to start it right that same way. However, I feel like the song, what Shameless was to Romance, that same thing to XOXO, what encapsulates the whole thing, is Dreamgirls. Dreamgirls really brings that Miami vibe. It shows the core values of what this album is, and after I Love It, I don't want to slow down the pace right away. I want to keep the energy going for the start, so I think Dreamgirls will work perfectly. Okay, from here, I think this is a good place to slow it down a bit, especially with having the big songs in Familia at the end, and now these two. We also have a song that she described as the thesis song of the album, and the thesis has to come closer to the start. So right here, I think is the perfect place to put Chanel number 5. It keeps like that sexy attitude up of the first two songs, but just with a different energy. And I think to continue that energy forward, we're gonna go with He Knows. There were 3 singles in XOXO so far. I Love It, He Knows, and then the third one, which will come later. So I think having them distributed like that will be absolutely perfect. He Knows is not the most energetic, so I don't think it's the right way to end it. But I think it has a very similar like lyrical style and also like character play that Chanel number 5 does. So I think them going back to back is perfect. There can even be a really cool transition there. Now, before we end our show, which obviously I want to do with bangers, I want to kind of have this last big emotional moment. So I think the perfect way to transition into it without jumping full in right away is going to be with 20-somethings. I think also because the song is super chill, this can be the perfect audience moment. This is where she can go to the front of the stage, go with the audience, high five some people, read their signs, whatever, because the song's not going to have a lot of choreography anyways. Right after 20-somethings, this is the perfect time to go into our big emotional catharsis moment. This is going to be with Boat. So we had Easy at the very start of the show. That was our romantic ballad. We got that out right away, and now Boat is going to be our sad ballad moment coming into the very end, going to be our last big emotional player. But the big question is, how do we get from the saddest song back to a banger in only 2 hits? And there's one perfect way to make that transition happen, and that is with Pretty When I Cried. This is the reason why Pretty When I Cry so far is actually my favorite song on XOXO, is because it is such a sad bop. It is coming from a sad place when Camila was in a sad time, but where she wants to dance and continue to be happy and live that Miami life. So I think it's going to be perfect because it comes from the same attitude as Bo, so it's not going to feel like a rough transition, but it's going to bring that dancey energy back, which is what we need for our closure, our big finale, which is our last single, Hot Uptown. I wanted Hot Uptown to be the encore just because I think this is like her most loose, her most free song, like everybody can just get down to it. And also because she doesn't actually have a lot of lines in it, she can really just commit to the choreography, just let Drake do the singing in the background and just like make it a really fun, entertaining, like interactive experience with the audience. Like you can imagine the beat drops like Hot Uptown, boom, 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 and then she just keeps building that on up. I feel like there's a lot of ways to remix the song too to make it sound really cool. So you can even do like a call and response thing like hot uptown, like something like that, whatever. Just make it more interesting, please. But I just think it's gonna be the perfect right way to end it. I can even like imagine her like giving her little exit speech, going out of the last chorus, and the dancers are still on stage, and then it just all ends, goes black, like psh. And also because it's the most recent single, it's the song she's trying to endorse the most right now. So I think if this tour was going to happen right now, Hot Uptown should be the encore because of that. For xoxo, the intro video, if she were to have one, I think actually this one's the one that needed most because Dade County Dreaming needs to be incorporated somehow. I didn't really want to put it in the set list because she doesn't have a lot of actual time in it, and her time and her parts in the song are also the least energetic and the least show-like. But I think to introduce the Miami energy, Dade County Dreaming would make that perfect little video. And I think she can also incorporate as many of the interludes she wants in the middle of these songs, whatever. She doesn't actually have to sing them, just play them in the background. I'm not including those in here. I hope you really like this tour. I really like the set list. I don't even know if I could emotionally handle it, to be honest, if this was a reality. But I think this is definitely the show out of any show in the world I would want to go to the most. And let me know if you guys like this kind of video because I actually like doing this. I like making the set list. So if there's any other artists you want me to do this with, let me know. I'll do it. I'll consider it. So yeah, thanks for watching.